The desperate Plath, red sun hung low over the dusty fields of Arkanthri. It was a farming world, quiet and forgotten by the stars. Alien peasants worked under the heat, bending their backs in silence. They lived hard lives ruled by warlords, who never came down from their sky. Cities dot in the middle of the market square. People stopped and stared. A young alien girl, skin pale blue and eyes full of fear, ran barefoot through the crowd. Her clothes were torn, her face dusty, but she didn't care. She was looking for someone. And when she saw him, her legs almost gave out. He stood like a statue near a trading post stall, broad-shouldered, with scars across his arms, human. His name was Rogan, a hunter from Earth. No one knew why he had come to this planet, and no one dared ask. Humans were rare here, and they were feared. Strong, unpredictable, dangerous. The girl didn't stop to think. She dropped to her knees in front of him. Her voice trembled, but she spoke clearly. "Give me a child with strong genes." Gasps filled the air. A fruit vendor dropped his basket. A child ran to hide behind her mother. Rogan didn't move. He looked down at her, his face unreadable. The alien girl, still on her knees, looked up with watery eyes. "Please," she said. "I need your strength." For a few seconds no one spoke. Then the human broke the silence with a single word. "Why?" The girl swallowed hard. "Because if I don't have your child, my people will disappear." Rogan frowned. He didn't laugh. He didn't mock her. He simply looked into her soul like a man who had seen too much war to be surprised anymore. Market guards started moving. A warlord's enforcer spotted the scene. He tapped his wrist communicator. "High alert. Possible Sarnay activity." Rogan noticed. So did the girl. "I don't have time," she whispered. "Please, come with me." Before he could decide, a strange mechanical sound filled the air. Above them, a small black drone floated. It hovered for just a second, then shot away toward the sky, toward the warlord's city. Rogan's instincts screamed. He grabbed the girl's arm and pulled her up. "Move." They ran through the alleyways, past stalls and carts. Behind them, a siren wailed. The hunt had begun. They reached a dry field at the edge of the village. A rusty truck was hidden under a broken tarp. Rogan tossed the girl inside, jumped in the driver's seat, and slammed his fist on the ignition panel. The truck roared to life, barely. The girl clutched the seat. "They'll come for me now." "Who are you?" he asked as dust flew behind. "Them. I'm no one," she said. "Just a peasant farmer." "You're lying," he said calmly. She looked at him, then nodded once. "Yes, I had to." He didn't ask more. He didn't need to. Rogan had seen eyes like hers before on battlefields, in broken cities. Eyes of people who had nothing left to lose. Finally, they reached a hidden farmhouse far from town. It was small, surrounded by fences made of scrap metal and old weapons. Rogan scanned the area. This wasn't just a farm. It was a fort, inside. She offered him water, but he didn't drink. "Talk. My name is Vesha," she said. "I was born here. My parents were killed when I was 5. By the warlords?" She nodded. "They wanted our land, but not because of crops." Rogan raised an eyebrow. "It's something in the soil," she said. "Something old, something that reacts to my blood, my family. We carry something ancient." She looked down at her hands. "My blood is too weak now. Generation after generation, it faded. But I heard stories. If mixed with strong human DNA, the gift might return." Rogan leaned back, silent. This was crazy, mad, and yet the drone, the guards, the way she was being hunted. There was something real in this madness. "I don't want love," she said quickly. "I don't want anything from you except strength. A child that can survive what's coming. A child that can protect this land." Rogan stared at her. "You think I'm a hero?" "No," she said softly. I think you're a weapon. That made him smirk just a little. Suddenly, a loud bang shook the house. Dust fell from the roof. Rogan moved fast, rifle in hand. He looked through the cracked window. A black dropship was landing in the field. Soldiers jumped out heavily armed. Masked in silver. They found you, he said. No, Vesha whispered. They found us. Asterisk. The black dropship slammed into the field like a hammer from the sky. Soldiers jumped out, silver armor, glowing rifles, red visors hiding their faces. Warlord enforcers. They didn't speak. They never needed to. They only followed one command. Erase threats quietly. Inside the farmhouse, Rogan dropped to one knee, pulled Vesha down beside him, and whispered, "How many exits?" "Only one," she said, eyes wide with fear. "Back door." "Not anymore," he said after checking. "They've got it covered." Rogan didn't panic. Instead, he reached into his belt, pulled out 2 small metal spheres, and handed one to her. "What's this?" Vesha whispered. "Smoke bomb." "Wait for my signal." She clutched it tightly as footsteps neared the front door. The soldiers didn't knock. They blasted the door off its hinges. Heat and light filled the room. Rogan threw his smoke bomb. Instantly, thick gray mist filled the air. He grabbed Vesha's hand. "Run!" They pushed through the smoke, past broken furniture and flame. Rogan kicked through the old wooden wall, and they tumbled out onto the hard ground. Lasers flashed. Behind them, a burning beam singed Rogan's shoulder, but he didn't stop. They dived into a drainage tunnel behind the barn. Rats scattered as they slid into the dark, cold pipe. The sound of boots faded behind them. For now they were safe, but Vesha was shaking. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "You didn't have to help me." Rogan didn't answer. He checked his shoulder. Burned, but not deep. "I've seen that kind of team before," he muttered. "Elite death squad. They don't come for farmers." Vesha looked away. "I lied," she said. "I'm not just any peasant. My blood is special." "You said that already," Rogan replied. "No," she said. "Not the full truth." She took a deep breath. Then, in the dark of the tunnel, she rolled up her sleeve and held out her arm. A glowing mark pulsed just beneath her skin, blue and silver, shaped like an ancient tree. Rogan stared. "That's a Sarnai brand." "Yes, my family comes from the last Sarnai bloodline. Long ago, we could command matter, heal earth, bend metal, even talk to machines. But the warlords killed us. All of us. They feared the power." "And you survived?" "My mother hid me. She married a worker. I became a nobody. But something is happening. I feel it in my bones, in my blood." Rogan nodded slowly. "Let me guess," he said. "You think a child between you and a human might unlock the old gift?" She hesitated, then nodded. "I've studied your DNA. Human genes are wild, adaptive, strong. If the child has my legacy and your strength, the power might return." Rogan leaned back against the cold tunnel wall. "You're asking a lot, you know." "I know," she said. "But I don't want to rule. I want to stop them. The warlords want to burn the planet, poison the soil, and turn every farm into metal mines. If I die without passing on the blood, the last hope dies with me." There was silence between them. Then, a faint sound, metal scraping above. Rogan pulled her down. The soldiers were scanning the field. "We can't go back to your home," he whispered. "Where's your tech?" "In the barn." "They'll destroy it." Vesha suddenly looked pale. "Then we have to get it now. There's something in there. Something my father left behind." "Too dangerous," Rogan said. "If they find it first," she said, "they'll learn what I really am, and then we'll both be hunted across the stars." Rogan cursed under his breath. "Fine, we do it fast." They crawled through the old irrigation tunnels, popping up behind a wall of hay near the barn. Smoke rose from the house. Soldiers moved in formation. See the red one? Rogan whispered. That's the commander. I'll distract him. You get into the barn. Grab what you need. What if you don't come back? Vesha asked. Rogan smiled slightly. Then make sure you do. Before she could answer, he stood, aimed his rifle, and fired a burst at the red-armored soldier. Chaos erupted. Vesha sprinted to the barn, heart pounding. Inside, she yanked open a trapdoor hidden under the floorboards. A small box lay there sealed with old Sarnai symbols. Her father had told her never to open it until the time was right. She opened it. Inside was a thin crystal disc. And a message. To my daughter, if you are reading this, it means the blood is fading. But inside this disc is a map. To the core of the planet. Where the Sarnai heart still lives. Suddenly, a loud bang shook the barn. Vesha turned. The red-armored commander had found her. He raised his weapon. Too late, girl. A second later, boom. Rogan crashed through the wall on a stolen hoverbike. Scooped her up and shot out the back. Hold on. He yelled as they flew across the burning fields. Vesha clutched the crystal disc against her chest. She didn't know if this journey would save her people. But she knew one thing now for sure. This human wasn't just a weapon. He was her only chance. The stolen hoverbike roared through the night. Wind howled across the open plains of Arkan 3. But Rogan didn't slow down. Vesha held tight behind him, clutching the crystal disc to her chest. Her heart beat fast, not just from fear, but from the strange heat spreading through her veins. They didn't speak until they reached the edge of an old canyon, where broken towers from the forgotten Sarni Empire still stood. Stone giants covered in vines, half buried in sand. Rogan stopped the bike and scanned the area. This place looks dead, he said. It's not, Vesha replied. This is where it all started. The disc will guide us from here. She held it up. The crystal glowed softly, then projected a hologram map. Deep under the planet's crust, glowing veins spread out from one point. The heart of the Sarnai lies beneath this ground, she whispered. And only Sarnai blood can reach it. Rogan didn't believe in magic. He believed in steel and bullets. But when he saw her eyes glowing faintly under the moonlight, he said nothing. Vesha sat down beside a stone pillar. Her legs were shaking. You okay? Rogan asked. She nodded slowly. No. He sat next to her. I feel something, she said. Something waking up inside me. Like a song I forgot how to sing. He didn't understand, but he listened. That was enough. Then she looked up at him. Do you think I'm crazy? Yes, he said without hesitation. But maybe crazy is what this world needs. Vesha gave a small, tired smile. She touched her stomach. I've never done anything like this before, she said. I don't know if it'll work. I don't even know if I'll survive it. What are you talking about? The child, she whispered. It's already starting. Rogan's eyes narrowed. That's not possible. I didn't think so either. But the blood knows. The genes know. It started the moment you touched me in the barn. The ancient power chooses fast when it finds what it needs. Rogan stood and paced, hands on his head. This wasn't the deal. There was no deal, she said. Just desperation. He wanted to shout. To leave. But something deep inside told him the child she carried wasn't just a child. It was a weapon. A symbol. A turning point. Suddenly, his wrist device beeped. He tapped it. A message played. Rogan, this is Captain Belrose. You're marked. A bounty of 10 million credits has been placed on your head. They say you're protecting a half-blood rebel. Is it true? Don't answer. Just run. They're coming. He crushed the device under his boot. Time to move. But before they could, a strange rumble shook the earth beneath them. Vesha gasped. The disc glowed bright, almost blinding. Then, the ground cracked open. A spiral staircase, made of stone and light, rose slowly from the earth. "The path to the heart," she whispered. Rogan pulled his rifle. "We go in," he said. "But we go ready." The staircase led them down into the planet. Heat grew with every step. Strange carvings lit up around them, images of Sarnai warriors, farmers, scholars. Even giant creatures made of crystal. Finally, they reached a vast chamber. In the center floated a glowing orb, held up by nothing, pulsing like a heartbeat. "The Sarnai core," Vesha said. "It holds the last pure code. If I can connect to it, maybe it can complete what's inside me. What's growing?" Rogan stepped back as she moved forward, hands trembling. She touched the orb. A wave of light burst out. Her body lifted off the ground. Her eyes turned white. Her hair floated in the air. Symbols danced across her skin. Then something went wrong. Second pulse of energy shot out red and sharp. Vesha screamed and dropped to the ground, smoke rising from her arms. Rogan rushed to her side. "What happened?" "The core." "Rejected." "Me," she coughed. "It knows my blood is weak." She looked at him, eyes wet. "It wants the child." "What?" "The power. It senses what's inside me. The child has the right genes, the right mix." "And it tried to take it?" Rogan asked. Stung. Double quotes no. "It tried to judge it," she said. "And it accepted." The orb dimmed. Suddenly, another sound echoed through the chamber. Footsteps. Rogan aimed his rifle. Out of the shadow stepped a figure. A bounty hunter, tall, armored in black, with a mask shaped like a wolf's face. "I didn't come for you," the hunter said. His voice was calm, cold. "I came for what she carries." Rogan stood between them. "You'll have to go through me." The hunter cocked his head. "Then this is your last breath." Rogan didn't flinch. Because now, it wasn't just about credits. It was about protecting something ancient. Something powerful. Something worth dying for. Asterisk smoke filled the ancient chamber as Rogan and the bounty hunter clashed. Laser fire lit up the stone walls. Vesha crawled to cover, her hands still shaking from the core's energy. Every time Rogan fired, the bounty hunter dodged with machine-like speed. His black armor deflected most attacks, and his mask, shaped like a wolf, never looked away from its prey. Vesha knew this wasn't just another mercenary. This hunter had been trained to kill people like her. Rogan grunted as a laser grazed his side. He threw a flash grenade. For 1 second, white light blinded the chamber. It was enough. He grabbed Vesha and pulled her onto the hoverbike. They blasted up the stone staircase and into the night. But as they flew toward the mountains, Rogan knew they had little time left. "They'll send more," he said. Vesha held her stomach. "The core, it accepted the child, but it rejected me. What if that means I'm too weak?" "You're not weak," he said without thinking. "You're just not alone anymore." She looked at him, confused. He looked away. They flew for hours, deep into the desert, until they reached the edge of an old city built into the rocks, hidden from satellites. Rogan called it the safe zone, but it was anything but safe. Outcasts lived here. Broken ex-soldiers, rebel engineers, smugglers, and old fighters from 100 dead wars out at the gates. A tall man in cybernetic armor stepped out. He had one red eye and a long scar over his face. "Rogan," the man said, grinning. "Didn't think I'd see you again." "Belric," Rogan replied. "I need help." Belric looked at Vesha. "She's the one, huh? The girl with the price on her head?" "No questions," Rogan said. Belric nodded and led them inside. The safe zone was a city of shadows. Neon lights buzzed, drones flew overhead, and deals were made in whispers. People recognized Rogan. Some looked at him with respect, others with fear. They were given a small room underground. "She needs rest," Rogan told Belric. "And I need supplies." "You'll get them," Belric said. "Just be careful who you trust." But Rogan didn't notice the way Belric's eyes followed Vesha, or how his wrist flashed as he walked away. Later that night, Vesha stood by a mirror. Her reflection flickered, the light in her veins glowing faintly again. The child is growing fast, she whispered. She touched her stomach gently. Then she looked at Rogan, who sat near the door cleaning his rifle. Do you ever wish you'd walked away? She asked. He didn't answer at first. Many times, he said finally. But I always came back. Why? Because something told me I shouldn't leave. Vesha smiled softly. Then the lights went out. Rogan jumped to his feet. Red emergency lights flashed. Vesha stood, alert. What's happening? Rogan grabbed his rifle. It's not a power cut, it's a betrayal. Boom! The wall exploded. Belric stepped through the smoke surrounded by soldiers in gray armor. His face was cold now. I didn't want to do this, he said. But 10 million credits is too much. Vesha's hands began to glow. She's carrying something important, Belric continued. Something the warlords want. And I don't care what it is, as long as I get paid. You always were a coward, Rogan growled. I'm a survivor. Belric snapped. The soldiers raised their rifles. Rogan and Vesha stood back to back. Then the floor shook. Suddenly, the air cracked with electricity. One of the soldiers screamed as lightning struck him. Vesha floated off the ground, eyes glowing silver. The mark on her arm burning like fire. The child. It's protecting itself, she said. The soldiers backed away in fear. Rogan used the moment. He fired, dropped 2 guards, and tackled Belric to the ground. You sold us out, Rogan shouted. You're just protecting her because you want to be a hero again. Belric spat. Rogan slammed his rifle across Belric's face. I'm protecting her because no one else will. Vesha dropped to the ground, gasping. The energy faded. They ran into the tunnels beneath the city. Lights flickered. Alarms screamed. Behind them, Belric shouted. You can't run forever. But they didn't stop. Hours later, they sat near an old water spring, deep underground. Vesha was pale. Rogan handed her a blanket. I'm sorry, she whispered. For what? For bringing all this to you. You didn't bring it to me, he said. I chose to walk into it. She looked at him, tired. Why? He didn't answer right away. Then he said, because somewhere along the way, I stopped seeing you as a mission. She blinked, and started seeing you as what? She asked softly. He didn't speak, but his silence said everything. She smiled weakly. Above them, the tunnel echoed with distant voices. The hunt wasn't over, but something had changed. Now, Rogan wasn't just protecting Vesha, he was protecting his future. The sun rose slowly over the wastelands. Its light touched the jagged rocks like fire licking old bones. Far beneath the surface, in the ruins of a forgotten rail line, Rogan stood guard while Vesha slept against the wall. She looked peaceful, but her body trembled every few minutes. Something inside her was changing, growing fast, too fast. Rogan watched her breathe. He didn't know much about miracles, but he knew this child wasn't normal. The ancient core had recognized it. The bounty hunters were chasing it. And deep down, even he felt it. The child wasn't just S-A-R-N-A-I. There was something new. Suddenly, footsteps echoed through the tunnel. Rogan raised his rifle, silent, steady. But the man who stepped from the shadows held no weapon. He wore rebel armor, old and dusty, with a white scarf around his neck. Name's Corin, the man said. I used to fight for freedom. Now I just help those running from chains. Rogan lowered his rifle just a little. How'd you find us? Word spreads. A human protecting a Sarnay carrier. Not exactly low profile. Vesha stirred and stood. Still weak. You're with the resistance? I used to be, Corin said. Now I'm with something smaller, smarter. He pulled out a dataship. We're building a haven. Deep space. Away from warlords, away from kings. But we need people like you and her. Rogan took the chip but said nothing. Corin looked at Vesha. The child inside you, it's the key. We know what the core did. We saw the energy wave. That wasn't just approval. That was awakening. Vesha shivered. Rogan stepped forward. If you're lying, I'm not, Karen interrupted. But there's a price. Rogan didn't like that word. What price? Corin hesitated. The resistance wants to use the child's birth as a symbol. They'll protect you, but when the child is born, they want to show it to the galaxy. A message to spark rebellion. Vesha sat down slowly. They want to turn my baby into a flag. It's your choice, Corin said. I'll give you time, but decide soon. He left without another word. Hours passed. Vesha sat alone, eyes locked on the chip. I don't know what to do, she said softly. You're not alone, Rogan replied. She looked at him, tired. That's not what I mean. I don't know who I am anymore. A fighter? A mother? A symbol? You're Vesha, he said. That's enough. She smiled, but only for a moment. If I give the child to the resistance, they'll protect it, but they'll own it too. If I run, I'll be hunted forever. She looked up. What would you do? Rogan took a long breath. I've spent most of my life killing for causes I didn't believe in. But this is different. He knelt beside her. I won't choose for you. But if you decide to fight, I'll fight with you. If you decide to run, I'll run with you. He touched her shoulder gently. No matter what. Her eyes filled with tears. Then I choose, she whispered, to protect the child myself. No armies, no flags. Just us, Rogan nodded. That's all I needed to hear. They traveled by night, hiding under ruins, crossing old battlefields. Rogan stole a small ship from a smuggler's hangar, and they escaped into orbit. But just as the stars opened around them, a warning siren blared. A fleet had found them. Warlord. Ships, 6 of them. Fast, deadly, already locking on, Rogan cursed. They must have tracked the core signal. He grabbed the controls. Strap in. This is gonna get ugly. The small ship shook as blasts hit the shields. Vesha cried out. The glow in her body returned, but this time it was painful. Her skin burned like fire. The child. It's reacting to the danger, she said through gritted teeth. The ship's hull cracked. Then, without warning, a beam of pure light shot from Visha's chest. It passed through the walls of the ship, through the cold of space, and into the enemy fleet. 2 warlord ships exploded instantly. The others pulled back frightened. Rogan stared at her in shock. Was that you? She shook her head. It wasn't me. It was the child. Silence filled the cabin. Rogan checked the ship's scanners. They're falling back. For now. He looked at her again. The child just told the galaxy it's alive. Vesha slumped in her seat, exhausted. I didn't mean to do it. I know, he said. But now we have no choice. What do you mean? He pointed at the radar. 100 ships were now changing course. Heading toward them, some from warlords, some from resistance. Some unknown. All of them wanted the child. Rogan stood tall. We're not just carrying hope anymore. He loaded his rifle. We're carrying a war. Asterisk, the stars looked calm. But behind that calm, war had started to move. Rogan stared at the ship's radar. It blinked non-stop signals from different directions. Warlord ships, resistance scouts, unknown mercenaries. All coming. They didn't care about Vesha. They didn't care about her life. They only cared about the child, the one with the spark of Sarnay and the strength of a human, and it had just lit up the galaxy. Like a flare. Rogan looked at Visha. She sat slumped in her seat, her skin pale, eyes closed, breathing slowly. Still with me? He asked. She nodded faintly. Barely. The energy blast. It drained you. It wasn't me, she whispered. It was the child. But the child and I are linked. When it acts, I feel it. Rogan didn't like that. If the baby kept defending itself, It might kill Visha before it was ever born. He punched in new coordinates. Where are we going? She asked weakly. Somewhere no one follows us, he replied. A place I hoped I'd never return to. She blinked. Where? He didn't answer. But outside the ship window, a red and black planet appeared. A world of storms and metal mountains. Vel tracks-9. The planet where Rogan had once trained to become a weapon. The home of the human hunter program. The ship landed in. Silence. Dust storms rolled across the cracked ground like ghosts. Old towers stood crooked, broken by time and war. As Rogan helped Visha out, a small drone flew over them. It scanned him, then beeped twice and flew away. They'll come, he said. They always do when a hunter returns. 10 minutes later, a door opened in the rock wall ahead. A figure stepped out, tall, armored, a human like Rogan, but older, harder, with a long scar from ear to chin. Didn't think you'd show your face here again. Boy, the man said. Rogan lowered his hood. Hello, Warden. The old man looked at Vesha. That her? Yes, she's glowing, Warden said dryly. That normal? No, Rogan replied. Nothing about this is normal. The Warden nodded and turned. Come in, before the sky eats you. Inside the mountain fortress, old hunters trained in silence. None looked at Vesha, but all stared at Rogan, some with respect, some with hate. He had walked away from this place. Not many lived to do that. They sat in a private chamber, shielded from all scans. Vesha drank a nutrient mix, her color slowly returning. Warden placed a small silver box on the table. This can hide the child's signal for a short time, he said. But once you leave, all hell follows. Why are you helping us? Rogan asked. Warden smirked. Because I trained you. Because this child might burn down the warlords, and because I'm bored. Fair enough. But then Warden leaned forward. You need to know something. The bounty hunter tracking you, the one with the wolf mask? Rogan's eyes narrowed. Yeah, he's not just another killer, he's one of ours. Hunter class prime, one of the last. Vesha frowned. So, he's like you. No, Warden said. He's better, stronger, faster, smarter, no mercy. Built to be perfect. Rogan clenched his jaw. How do we stop him? You don't, Warden said. You slow him. And then you run. Later that night, Rogan stood alone in the Hall of Blades. Every hunter's weapon was kept here after death. It was a quiet, cold place. He touched the hilt of an old blade, his own. The one he left behind when he quit this life. He strapped it to his back. No more running. He returned to Vesha, who sat near the shielded window, staring into space. I felt something, she said. Far away, but getting closer. Rogan sat beside her. The hunter? She nodded slowly. He's not tracking us by tech. He's tracking us by blood. My blood. He's like a shadow made to hunt me. Rogan pulled out a small tracker. Then we give him a trail. Vesha looked at him. You're going to fight him? Not fight, Rogan said. Trap him. You'll go with Warden to the far caverns. Hide. I'll lead the hunter away. She grabbed his hand. You won't survive. Maybe not, but you and the child will. Tears welled in her eyes. You don't have to do this. I do, he said. Because somewhere along this crazy journey, I started to care. She looked into his eyes. And for the first time, she saw more than a killer. She saw a protector. The next day, Rogan stood alone on the edge of the canyon. The signal beacon blinked. Beside him, he didn't have to wait long. The sky cracked open. The black ship dropped like death itself. And from the smoke stepped the wolf-masked hunter. Tall, silent, icy. Rogan drew his old blade and rifle. Let's finish this, he muttered. The hunter didn't speak. He just charged, and the final battle began. The canyon was silent, except for the sound of steel boots crushing stone. The hunter in the wolf mask stepped forward calm, deadly, unstoppable. His armor gleamed under the twin suns of Veltrex 9. In his hands he held a plasma blade, long and sharp, humming with red energy. Across from him stood Rogan. No armor. Just a worn rifle on his back and the blade of his past in his hand. The two warriors circled each other. Wind howled between them. "You should have stayed hidden, Rogan," the hunter said finally. "I don't hide from things that threaten what's mine." Rogan replied, "The child will be taken, with or without you." Rogan didn't answer. He lunged. Their blades clashed, sparks flying. The hunter was faster, cleaner, colder. But Rogan fought like a storm, every move wild, raw, and full of fire. He dodged a killing strike and slammed his blade into the hunter's side. The armor held, but the hunter staggered. "You're old," the hunter hissed. "I'm human," Rogan said. "We don't need perfection. We just need a reason." Far away, deep in the caverns of Veltrax, Vesha cried out. Her body trembled. Her skin glowed. The child was coming. The warden placed old blankets beneath her and activated a bioshield to block any signals. "We don't have time," he said. "Focus, breathe, let it happen." Vesha gripped the wall. "Something's wrong. It's not just birth, it's energy, pure energy. The child. It's burning. Because it knows its father is dying," the warden whispered. Vesha's eyes widened. Rogan. Outside, the sky rumbled. She screamed and the rocks around her began to glow. Back in the canyon, Rogan fell to one knee. Blood dripped from his side. The hunter stood over him, blade raised. "You protected her. For what? You're not the father, you're just a tool." Rogan smiled through the pain. "That's where you're wrong." With the last of his strength, he activated a small trigger hidden in his glove. A charge beneath the canyon wall exploded. Rocks collapsed. Dust flew, and the hunter lost his balance. Rogan leapt forward and stabbed his blade into the hunter's leg. They both fell. But only Rogan rose. Barely. He limped away, broken, bleeding, but alive. In the caverns, the child was born. There was no cry, no scream, just a sound like soft thunder, then a glow brighter than the sun. Warden shielded his face, and Vesha stared at the being in her arms. The child looked human, but its skin shimmered like crystal. Its eyes glowed silver and gold. It didn't cry. It simply looked at her, and then reached out to touch the wall. The entire cavern lit up. Stone turned to light. Metal bent away, and above, every signal tower on Veltrex 9 exploded at once. The galaxy felt the birth, and trembled. Later, Vesha carried the child out into the canyon. She found Rogan near the cliff edge, barely breathing. "No," she whispered. Falling beside him, "No, stay with me." He opened his eyes weakly. "Hey, you made it." She held his hand. "We both did. You didn't have to fight alone." He smiled faintly. "You weren't alone. You had the future." She placed the child in his arms. Rogan looked at the glowing infant, so small. He whispered, "But so strong." "He's not just ours," Vesha said. "He belongs to something greater." Rogan coughed. "He's fire and stone." Then his head dropped, but the child placed its hand on his chest, and a soft light filled his body. Wounds closed. Blood stopped. Rogan gasped and opened his eyes again. "You're kidding me," he said. "He can do that?" Vesha laughed through her tears. "He's full of surprises." 1 week later, news spread across systems. The warlords fell silent. The resistance stood tall. A message had gone out. No words, no flag. Just an energy wave that lit up every corner of the stars. Child has been born. The future is watching. Warlords ordered retreats. Hunters vanished. People began to speak the name Sarnai again, with hope, not fear. But Rogan, Vesha, and the child? They were gone. Some say they returned to the hidden farm on Archon 3. Others say they live among the stars, watching and waiting. But one thing is certain. A simple alien peasant begged a human for strong genes, and what they created together changed the galaxy forever.